I'm Paul Krekorian, and I'm the council member for the 2nd Council District. And I'm approaching my 15-year mark in the City Council and my last 2 weeks on the City Council. So as of the second week of December, I will be leaving the City Council after 15 years. But I have to tell you that one of the greatest joys of being able to serve in public office is the ability to work with people in every community throughout my district who are the silent heroes that make our city work, that make neighborhoods better, that contribute to their neighbors' lives in ways that they never ask for recognition for. They just do it because it's right. They see things that need fixing and they go and fix it. They see things that are inequitable and they go and they do the things necessary to make it more fair. And I've been blessed to work with people throughout my district that are that type of person, that type of community leader. But I can't think of a single person who embodies that kind of spirit more than my friend and your friend, Frank Miceli. And when we come to East Valley baseball for throwing out first pitches and for celebrating the end of the season or the beginning of the season, and we see how much the young ball players of East Valley baseball are enjoying these facilities. And when we look back and think that over the last 20 years, there have been thousands of ball players that have come through this program who have some of the best memories of their lives that have happened at these fields. When we think of those thousands of young people whose character was built, largely because of their experience in East Valley baseball, their sense of teamwork, their sense of commitment, their sense of being able to take on challenges and get it done. And they've been made into not just better ball players, but better people and better citizens because of their experience in East Valley baseball. Thousands of young people, they owe that in very, very large measure to the efforts of Frank Miceli. And they are, in a very real way, his legacy of service. And so, I guess we really have to say it. We have to say it out loud and honestly. Frank can be a handful. And as the council member who has to answer some of those calls, I can vouch for the fact that Frank can be, let's just say, persistent in the things that he wants to get done. But let me tell you something. You look at what's happening over on this corner and you compare it to what that corner looked like 20 years ago, and you see the results of persistence. You see the results of vision. You see the results of commitment that Frank has devoted to this property for those last 2+ decades. And that is the result. And seeing, these kids have the opportunity to enjoy that. That is the result of Frank's consistent insistence that the young people of this community have the same level of respect and dignity, the same quality facilities as the young people of any other part of the San Fernando Valley. And we've been able to, and it's been a privilege for me just to be able to come along for the ride with Frank and to be able to support that effort. But this is the result of those efforts. And so I couldn't be more grateful, Frank, to have been able to be a part of your journey and your vision over these last 15 years that I've been a part of it. And so I'm grateful to you, Frank, for all that you've done for this neighborhood. And with that, sharing in the love here, I want to recognize somebody else who has been so dramatically important to the history of this particular community, somebody who has been a model of service to others and service to our community. I've been able to, follow along with his work since he was Mayor Bradley's deputy here in the San Fernando Valley, and I've been able to watch his extraordinary career of public service through his time in the state Senate, then his 3 months that we got to serve together in the state assembly before he came back here and became a council member where I was able to return as his colleague when I started in the council. Our former senator, our former assembly member, our former council member, Richard Alarcon. Richard, you want to come up and say a few words?
I don't give many speeches these days, but long before I was a city councilman, I hit my first home run over that fence over there when I was 10 years old. And actually, no, I was 12, I'm sorry. So that was 58 years ago. But I can vouch for every word that Paul just said about what this Little League means to this community. When I started, it was Sand Val Little League, and then a couple of years into being a councilman, it was struggling. And so was East Valley League. They were struggling. And a guy came up, and yeah, he was tenacious. That's a very kind word. He was insistent that we do something, but he found a ready participant because this is where I grew up. And believe it or not, I had a hell of a lot more fun playing Little League over here than I ever did in government. I know that's hard to believe. Yeah. But Frank came to me and we teamed up to make sure that this league did not disappear as the league over there was about to. And by combining the efforts, two different kinds of leagues, yet they overcame all the contractual issues, all the paperwork issues, and this came out of the human spirit. It didn't happen because a bunch of technicians came in and tried to figure this out and figure that out. It came because the people wanted this, and Frank was the leader to guide them, to help them through, and to be pushed by them to get this done. So I had to be here. Besides, he called me and asked me to be here. So I want to congratulate Frank for all the work you've done. And I know all the ups and downs because I lived through them as you have lived through them over these years. But I can tell you that the value of this, with all the recreational services that we struggle to provide to kids nowadays, we're just not getting it done. And these kinds of facilities are essential to making our community a better place in which to live. So I want to thank you. I congratulate you. I also have to mention, there's one other name, I got to mention Tony Severa. Tony Severa Jr. is here somewhere. And the Severa family, they were the precursor to Frank to be that kind of community spirit. I believe they emerged, and just like Frank's spirit, I think it emerged out of the greatest generation as described by Tom Brokaw in his book. People that were humble, they didn't want any credit, they just wanted to get things done, do good things for people. So Paul, thank you so much for naming this after Frank. It's well deserved. And you're not leaving, right? You're gonna stick around, right?
I got 5 minutes.
No. No, you're going to be here for a lot more years. Take care. Thank you.
I'm retiring. He's not. So Thank you, Richard. And Richard, hit your first home run here, but you hit a lot of home runs for the San Fernando Valley throughout your career. So thank you very much for being with us. And yeah, look, I am a huge fan of baseball. I was born and raised with it, and so that would be reason enough to be here because baseball matters a lot. It matters, though, beyond the sport, because when we have these kinds of programs, it is one of the best ways to be able to bring families together, to connect one generation to the next, to bring neighborhoods together in commonality, and to teach all of the great positive character attributes that sports properly taught can bring to us as participants in the larger society. And we're really, really blessed here in the East Valley to have several really extraordinary baseball programs. And I would just like to now ask to come up and speak on behalf of Toluca Baseball. I'd like to ask Joyce Aiello to come up and say a few words as well. Thank you, Joyce.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
It's
for
a
all
pleasure.
you've done for the community as well. We appreciate that, and congratulations on your impending retirement. Wow, what a beautiful afternoon, and what a beautiful, lovely reason to be here, right? As Councilman said, my name is Joyce Aiello Baudouin. I appreciate you giving me a few moments to talk to you about my dear friend, Frank Miceli. I will talk a little bit about Toluca baseball, but this is really a Frank Miceli moment, and we don't get enough of those for all that Frank has done. I've had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of speaking over the years, sometimes as a lawyer, sometimes as a volunteer or a baseball mom or league official, and sometimes just as the loudest voice in the room. By far, this is my favorite opportunity and my favorite reason for ever speaking. I am here not only as Frank's friend, but as a fan, a really big fan for a lot of years. A lot of people, as you can see here today, love and admire Frank for all the good reasons, all that he's done and everything that he is, and I am chief among those folks. A lot of people, as the councilman mentioned, have also wanted to wring his neck from time to time. Again, for all that he is and all that he does and all that he sees in other people and for other people. And I too am one of those folks. Vicky's laughing at that. Vicky's one of those folks too. But I will never speak truer words than when I tell you that Frank Miceli is as fine a person and as good a man as you will ever meet. If you know him, you know that. And goodness knows that I am one of the many people in this community who's been blessed with his friendship, with his generosity, with his wisdom, and with his energy. And oh my, that energy. We've all experienced that too. He also has a never-ending desire to do good, to be better, and to leave his community better than he ever found it. And that is what this is about today. This is an opportunity to show the rest of the world who Frank is and what he's done. I've known him about 27 years. We met, as the councilman member mentioned, through Toluca Baseball when my son was very young and just getting started. Over time, Frank became one of our closest friends. He certainly was my late husband Steve's best friend. They spent an extraordinary amount of time together, and I know Frank knows, that those were some of the best times of Steve's life. We actually became family with Vicky and Cammie and Sam, all of our family together. In fact, they all just attended my son's wedding a few months ago, and Frank helped us with the rehearsal dinner, and I don't think there's been an important moment in my life in the last quarter of a century that Frank hasn't been a part of. Steve and Frank came over here when East Valley, when it was San Val, when it was brand new. I have photos of them covered in dirt the first weekend they were here trying to get through the weeds. But it was fun. It was hard work. Oh, wait a moment. Yeah. It was hard work. It was a lot of dedication. And it was all very worthwhile. After my husband passed away, Frank was no less dedicated to us and to my family and to Steve's memory than he is to everything in his life. And with his dedication and his friendship and his love and devotion, he got us through the toughest moments in our world, and he helped us celebrate some of the happiest moments. I'd like to think he did that only for us, but I can see by the crowd that's gathered today that's not true, and I'm very, very glad it's not true. He's inspired so many folks to volunteer, inspired so many kids over the years to try and to succeed. He is the king of second chances. East Valley Baseball is a tribute to that. Frank gave Sand Val its second chance as East Valley Baseball, and for that the community is very grateful. There are a lot of people that will come through this program and that came through Toluca Baseball and still go through Toluca Baseball today because it's still a large, thriving youth baseball organization who won't know Frank and who may never meet him and may never fully understand the value of his commitment and his contributions, but they will learn it every day just by being there and by seeing the model that he set, the programs he created, and the legacy he leaves behind. Their world and their experiences and their lives will be better. They're dramatically improved by his dedication and his deeds. He taught them, and he teaches the kids, not just teamwork and practice and commitment and hard work and success, but he teaches them to come home, and not just home plate, but home to their community, and to do what's good for their community and do what's right for their neighborhood and do what's good for their teammate and their neighbor and their family. And that matters. We don't see enough of that in today's world, and that matters. So by honoring him today with Frank Miceli Square, it would allow everybody who passes through here to see his name and maybe wonder who he is and wonder what he did. But they'll wonder and they'll think and they'll know that this community and this corner and this area was improved because of something Frank did. So, on behalf of my family and my community and Toluca Baseball, I want to thank my city, I've been here myself for 35 years, for justly honoring my dear friend. And I thank and honor and love Frank just for being Frank. So for that, on behalf of everyone, I say thank you to Frank. Thank you. I'm going to end up taking your notes, which doesn't...
No, I don't.
There you go.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Beautifully said. And now I'd like to invite up, on behalf of East Valley Baseball, I'd like to invite up Tina Bordas to say a few words as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Frank, stay there. I finally get a chance to talk. I'm so sorry. It is truly a privilege to stand before you today as we come together to honor a man whose name is synonymous with dedication, community, spirit, and an unwavering love for the game of baseball, Frank Miceli. Today we gather to celebrate not just an extraordinary milestone, 40 years of selfless volunteer service, but also a legacy that has forever changed East Valley baseball. Frank's commitment over the past 4 decades has not only enriched the sport, that has also fostered a thriving community where countless young athletes have found joy, camaraderie, and a passion for baseball. From the early days of chalking the fields to the many nights under the lights of the ballpark, Frank has been there every step of the way, bringing both his steady leadership and tireless work ethic, whether he was organizing games, mentoring young players, or ensuring that every season ran smoothly. He gave his heart to every task, large and small. But beyond the tangible contributions, what makes Frank truly memorable is the way he has inspired all of us. His generosity and steadfast dedication have built lasting friendships, taught young players the value of teamwork and perseverance, and created memories for families that will last a lifetime. He was he has shown as the incredible power to the volunteerism and the difference one person can make. And so today we honor Frank in a way that befits his monumental impact with the naming of an intersection. Now, for all time, as people pass through this crossroad, it will stand as a symbol of Frank's unwavering commitment to connecting and strengthening of our community, just as he always has done the day in and day out for us. Frank, on behalf of everyone here and the countless lives you've touched, we offer our deepest gratitude. Thank you for 40 years of service, for your passion and for your vision, and that has lifted East Valley baseball to the heights we see today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tina. You know, Tina mentioned this is a crossroads, and that hadn't really occurred to me before, but we're naming an intersection, and it's appropriate that we're doing it right here next to this incredible East Valley facility, but it's also appropriate that it's at an intersection, because for many young people, you know, growing up today, they face all sorts of crossroads, and they have decisions to make about taking this path or this path. And I like to think that, you know, the work that's done here on this field, thanks to Frank and thanks to all of the parent volunteers who are here, and thanks to all the coaches and everybody else who's a part of East Valley, you help young people make better decisions about which path to take. And that's an important part of this legacy as well. So with that, I'd like to ask our friend Frank to come up, because I have a couple of things that I would like to offer you first, Frank, before we go to the next thing. 1 second, guys. If I could have that. Yeah. So first of all, this is secondary to today's event, but until recently I was the president of the city council, and if any of you have been in the military, you may, or been a police officer or a firefighter, you may know the tradition of the challenge coin. In the U.S. military, every unit has its own logo, and oftentimes they put that onto a coin, which is kind of a semi-secret way to acknowledge membership of the team. And challenge coins are presented to people who have done extraordinary work on behalf of the team and who deserve special recognition. So I had challenge coins made when I was president of the city council, and so because it was such a privilege for me to be able to work with Frank in that position, and for the last 15 years, Frank, first I want to present to you my challenge coin as city council president emeritus. And much more important than that, we have to present, we have a much bigger version that's going on these poles. But for you to keep at home as a constant reminder, we also want to give to you this plaque, your own personal designation of Frank Miceli Square, youth sports baseball leader and mentor, Frank Miceli. I want to give this to you and give you the mic. Frank Miceli, everyone.
Pretty cool. By the way, Joyce, thank you very much. My wife now knows that I have wisdom.
She's always known.
No, she did not. Did not know that. Yeah, I just lost all my wisdom out the window. This is very humbling. It really is. I was driving the other day, and you drive past some of these squares, and you see who some of the people are that have these squares. You know, Bob and Dolores Hope, philanthropic people, generals, politicians. And I look up there now and I see me. I'm not sure if I'm worthy, but at the same time, I'm taking it. I'm taking it, so thank you for that. There are a lot of people that are here that came before me. Yogi is one of them. One of our fields is named after Yogi Riley and her husband Les. Been here a long time. We mentioned about Tony Cervera. Anthony Cervera is here, and I'm going to say, really, without Anthony Cervera, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. He asked me one day, what are your visions? My visions of sugar plum fairies, if you will. And I went off on a tangent for about 15 minutes, and I think we got about half of them done, and we're still working on that. But there are so many people out there that have inspired, have motivated. There are many of you that are here today. I'm not going to mention each and every name, otherwise we'd be here for way too long. And I was told at another event, don't thank each and every person. And I missed someone that I should have said. Where's Vicky? So, there she's down here. My wife, Vicky.
Yeah.
Who has put up with me for 35 years and this passion. My child, Cammie, my youngest, who's here. You've only done this for 25 years with me, so that's good. My brother Joe, who in business allows me the opportunity to come up here and do this stuff while I make him run the restaurants, so I don't have to. To clarify a few things, with Richard, he made the comment about getting in touch with him and getting stuff done up here. He was really the impetus of all of this, and he told me that his youth baseball league was about to go under, and what do we do next? And that kind of started this whole ball of wax going, so I have to blame him. I've done that to you before, to blame you, but I'm definitely going to blame you. Councilman for CD6 back when, was CD6, right?
Yeah.
Was Tony CD6. Tony Cardenas helped us get a lot of stuff going. Our bathrooms, things like that. Started that ball rolling, and Councilman Krekorian jumped in when redistricting happened and became our champion up at East Valley Baseball, and allowed me that opportunity to yell at him and ask him for things and try and get things done. There's still a lot more that we need to work on.
I've been told.
Yeah, but we now know you're the person that's taking over. We know who that is, so I feel bad for Adrian, but he knows what he's up against and has accepted that. To all the kids that play at East Valley, I got buddies here, by the way, who I played youth ball with, that I'm still friends with today. Youth ball, and that's why we're friends. I mean, Dana and I played baseball together since we were 10 years old. Chris is here, 10 years old. Other guys here that it wasn't until we were 30 years old that we started playing baseball together. But it was baseball that brought us together. I have high school and junior high school friends that are here today that I'm so thankful for. Mike, how you doing? So thank you. Lito's here, Scott is here, and guys that I've been involved with for so long. I'm gonna miss people, so I have to not thank anyone else, otherwise I'll insult somebody. But I want to thank my family for being here today, all those kids that are here today, and hopefully they pass it along and pay it forward to the next generation. So with that, I'm thankful and humbled, and so thank you all very much. Really appreciate it.